Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Let me just say to Director Watt what a pleasure it is for me to be here. I noticed you looked at me when you saw this big book and list of questions. Well, in full disclosure, Director Watt was my mentor, and I recall him always saying to me, read everything and always have good questions. With that said, let me just say on a very serious note how much I appreciate the work that you and your team, that you are doing to protect all of my constituents and constituents across the country with housing and those regulations. But today I'd like to lend my voice to one of the questions that we've heard from both sides that centered around membership into the Federal Home Loan Bank related to the September FHFA issued ruling revising the membership requirement of FHLBs. Well, of those 1,300 and some comments that you received, my district was not silent there. So on behalf of my district, the Ohio Capital Finance Corporation, which serves thousands of households, raised concerns expressed by other community development financial institutions. They hold dearly the affordable housing program as one of the most important sources of funding nonprofit housing communities. So the question is regarding the requirement to meet 1-in-2 ratio test of mortgages to total assets. And what they want to know is, since they don't hold mortgages, they being the Ohio Capital Fund, that range from 1 to 10% depends on the type or the asset size. That when that goes into effect, it would cause them to terminate their membership with a Federal Home Loan Bank in Cincinnati because it doesn't hold mortgages. So would you or your team give any consideration of doing an evaluation on the impact of the burden to community development financial institutions of a less severe remedy than loss of membership?
We are looking at every aspect of this. We've got, as I indicated before, approximately 1,300 comments in response to the proposed rule, and we're going through them. Our preliminary analysis indicates that despite the fact that there are 7,500 members of the Federal Home Loan Bank system now, only 50 to 100 of them would be adversely affected by the rule. And that's not to minimize the value of that 50 to 100, but that's definitely one of the factors that we will take into account.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Chairman, may I ask unanimous consent to have the letter from the Ohio Capital Finance Corp. Entered into the record?
Without objection.
Thank you. The second question I have goes to Amway. I am very honored that Ranking Member Maxine Waters asked me to be involved and to chair that committee. You certainly know through your organization, having Amway prior to Dodd-Frank, that there are different regulations. With Dodd-Frank, they now have the whole issue of transparency, reporting back to the public on the numbers. Diversity is very important to me for a whole host of reasons, but can you briefly share with us what you're doing since you came under the Recovery Act of how you are being transparent and sharing the diversity through Amway?
Well, there are statutory reporting requirements, and we obviously are complying with those. But more importantly, what we've done is tried to take a look at how to make the Amway office an important ingredient of our organization, not just keeping numbers, but embed them in decisions that are being made. And in the selection of our director of the Amway office, we found somebody who had transactional background, not just Amway background, so that we could get that person involved in the kinds of decision-making that would have some impact on diversity.
Thank you.
The gentleman's time has